Pantanal is the largest wetland on planet, as probably some of you know already. And I will start explaining where Pantanal is right now. Pantanal, as you can see in this map, is right in the middle of South America, okay? It is located in the border with Paraguay and Bolivia. And it's located also in two states of Brazil, Mato Grosso and Mato Grosso do Sul. One curiosity about Pantanal, the size of Pantanal is 10 times bigger than Kruger National Park. And I like to do this, to compare these, not because we are better or worse than Africa, but I would say that probably 90% of our partners, companies like you, they sell Pantanal for their existing clients that have been to Africa once, twice, or three times. And so Pantanal is a place that is a very good product, a very good destination to sell to clients that have been traveling to Africa before. And why is that? Because wildlife here is not like as big in terms of mammals as in Africa, but we have an abundance of different species here, which makes this area very special. And 5% of the area is preserved on conservation units. So why is so special Pantanal? It was declared World Heritage Site and also UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. As I said before, it's a wetland, but it's not wet all the time because there is a movement of water. So during the rainy season, the water from the surroundings mountains comes down and flood Pantanal, and almost all the rivers get off of the riverbanks and flood because it's totally flat area, almost no hills, just a small hills that create some cordilleras, some range of mountains, not mountains, range of these areas where is green. I will show you later some pictures from the sky. And it's a transition area between Amazon, the Cerrado, that is our savanna, and the Chaco in Argentina. Really rich in biodiversity and also home to globally vulnerable species. And the highlight of it is the home of the third largest cat in the world, which is the jaguar, that can be up to 135 kilos. So after the tiger and the lion, the jaguar is the largest cat in the world. And tourism, what we do, our companies do, is really, really important to preserve this area. And I will try to explain later. So this is a map of the area. As we can see here, the purple are the roads and all the blue are the rivers. So imagine raining all around Pantanal and this water coming down, and then these rivers floods. All this area is flat. It becomes like several big lakes during after the rainy season, okay? So this is the map of the area. Pantanal has three main entrances, okay? Campo Grande, which is the major airport in Mato Grosso do Sul. Cuiabá, which is the major entrance in Mato Grosso. And also Corumbá, which is on the west side of Mato Grosso do Sul state. The two main entrances are Corumbá and Cuiabá and Campo Grande because it has more flights, but Corumbá is becoming more and more popular with flights to entry in the Pantanal via this airport as well, okay? Some people call North Pantanal and South Pantanal. We prefer to say North entrance and South entrance. Comparing again with Kruger National Park, we just have one Kruger National Park and not North Kruger or South Kruger, even having some differences or smaller differences. But to visit Pantanal, for people who want to come to Pantanal, it's nice to connect both entry via north, leaving from the south or west, or on the opposite way, because then we can explore better the area. Okay. All right. Okay. So regarding the climate, as I said, we have rainy season and dry season, and the steep cliffs around that helps this water to comes down during the rainy season to flood. So here we can see some lakes when it's flooded, but this is not totally flooded, as we can see light green areas here. So when we see this vegetation, it's what is outside of the water during the after rainy season, and it's possible to have these flooded up to these parts here. Rainy season is basically November and March, and dry season, I just put there May to October, but mainly June to September. But because of climate change, and also not only for that, we might have some still dry season in May and still dry season in October. So to visit Pantanal, to see more wildlife, is better between April to November, or May to October, and the peak season, June to September. Okay, just for you to have an idea when to sell to your travelers the destination. Pantanal has something that is really nice, which is Wild Africa. We have the big mammals and reptiles and snakes. Here we have thousands of birds, and also big birds like the hyacinth macaw or the jaburu stork and other species, the spoonbill. I forgot the name, spoonbill. Well, I forgot the name in English. But so these birds in Brazil, they are much bigger than usually, so which makes the Pantanal a little bit different than Africa. But also lots of fishes. It's a fishing destination in some periods of the year. Reptiles, which is also very common, especially the yellow anaconda, which is the biggest snake we have in Brazil. And finally, our mammals, okay? Which, as I said, not as big as Africa ones, but still really nice and different than the Africa ones. The highlights are the jaguar, the giant otters, the ocelots, lots of monkeys, the tapir, which is the biggest mammal in South America. So these are the species we've got in Pantanal, okay? So how to visit Pantanal? Today, my idea is to show you how to visit Pantanal on a remote way, more unique way, because, and also in the end, I will talk a little bit about the easier way to visit Pantanal. So I will explore deeper the cruise we run in Pantanal, and also a new region called Amolar Mountain Range. We can separate the clients when they come to Pantanal in two basically different clients. One that is coming to Brazil and wants to visit Pantanal, and one that is coming to Pantanal that is in Brazil. What's the difference between them? Clients that have been in Africa, or India for the tigers, or Galapagos for the wildlife, or Africa for the penguins, or Madagascar, which is in Africa for the endemic species there, which are wildlife oriented, they come to Pantanal more than to Brazil. Then they will explore a little bit of Brazil while visiting after or before visiting Pantanal. Other clients that are coming to Brazil as a destination that wants to explore Pantanal, we would recommend you to stay there 3-4 days, and then it's not the case for these two main products that I will talk today, the cruise and Amolar Mountain Range, but I will mention the other options after. So, as I said, Pantanal is rich in rivers, okay? So navigate through Pantanal is natural. So it has been done in the lots since the beginning of the exploration of Pantanal. Fishing is using the boats a lot. And since 2018, we have created, together with a local partner, a cruise. The boat is not ours, and the boat itself can vary. Nowadays, we are using this boat with 7 cabins, but the operation is ours, okay? So we are running this year, 2024, 6 different departures, 2 open challenge, 2 open departures, and 4 on private groups that are sold already, okay? So navigating in Pantanal, we are exploring right now. We may change the itinerary like each year because things are happening, new ideas are coming. But right now, what we are doing with open challenges, we are starting in Porto Jofre, which could be considered the Jaguar Land. It's a place like Kruger with several people searching for animals, and it's easier to find the animals. The animals are more used to the humans, but once we see a jaguar, we will have other boats around us. So it's a great experience to see as many jaguars as possible in a short period of time. But for people who want to do something more remote, it's not the best place to go. But it's one of the places where the people go more and more. And also it's a place where we can stay in lodges as well. So our cruise is start or finish here in Porto Jofre, and start or finish here at this area of Paraguay River. So along the cruise, 6 nights, we navigate along the Cuiabá River and Paraguay River, and out of Porto Jofre, we are totally remote. So then we can give our clients the experience to be on a place where it's easier to find the first jaguar at the beginning of the trip or the end of the trip. And we will have also an experience navigating through remote areas where, including Amolar Mountain Range, where we don't have nobody around. So we can combine both experiences for the clients who are there. But as I said, this program is really good for clients that are coming to Brazil, coming to Pantanal, that is in Brazil, especially to see wildlife. Along the route, have, as I said, transition from Amazon. These lily ponds, they come via the rivers that comes from Amazon because they are not endemic of these areas. So they are here because of the flow of the river from the Amazon. And we explore every day along the cruise with small boats like that. As you can see here, the people are wearing some like clothes for cold. And it's funny because on the same day, we can have early mornings with 12, 13 degrees Celsius. That feels like 6 degrees Celsius, depending on the speed and the humidity of the days. But on the mid of the day, like midday or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we can have 36 to 37 degrees Celsius. Sometimes on the suggested list of things to bring to this cruise, we say jumpers and also like long sleeves for the sun and something comfortable for the heat. That's how it is. And sometimes it's difficult to understand. So this is how close we can get to the wildlife just to like explore it, take pictures, feel how they are doing. So as you can see here, these two jaguars are playing or mating or something. So this is the fun of the area. So we can get close to the animals without like annoying them, and to explore and taking pictures and have good memories of Pantanal. Okay. Along the cruise, so this is the boat that we are using right now. Okay, it's not a luxury cruise. Probably some of you have sold already Aqua or Delfin in Peru. It's not as luxury as these boats. It's a boat with 7 cabins. The cabins will be with 2 single beds, okay, or 1 double bed on the same cabin, okay? All the cabins with ensuite facilities, hot shower, common areas like these. but not luxury. The luxury is the experience to be there alone with a group of maximum 12 people on the same group. We have 7 cabins, but we can only, 14 people, 7 cabins for up to 2 people in each cabin. So this is what which is exclusive, not luxury as Delphine, for example, except for the food, because who owns the boat is a chef. So the food is really amazing. And we are very proud of this food that we can serve on these boats. Okay. Then I mentioned to you another region, which is in the middle of our cruise, which is called Amolar Mountain Range. So the Amolar Mountain Range is one of the range of mountains which is surrounding Pantanal, and it's in the border with Bolivia. So when we are looking at this picture, behind the mountains is already Bolivia here, okay? And this is really remote because we cannot get there by road, only by small plane or by boat, okay? And this is a lodge-based program. And why this region is also really special? As we said, we have 28 conservation units in Pantanal, and some of them are here. So we have the national park, we have the national park here, a private reserve here, and several private reserves on this map. The idea of these private reserves are some wealthy people in Brazil, they bought this land and they transform it on private reserve. And by the local law in Brazil, once you do that with your own land, you need to follow federal rules, and then you cannot transform them back to private land, to production or something like that. So these people did that. And one NGO called Instituto Homem Pantaneiro is in charge to monitor and to protect this area. And we, as a company, have a partnership with this NGO. So the tourism now is trying to increase in the area to give them money to protect the area. So the idea is that the tourism we do there is to sustain and to preserve and to protect and to monitor and to combat the fires on the fire, because sometimes you have fires in the area during the dry season. So that's why we are connected with this NGO, and we are very proud to be doing this work in this area. So the starting point of this trip, or ending point and ending point, is Corumbá. Corumbá is different than Campo Grande, which is a very new city, and Cuiabá, which is old, but regarding to mining. Corumbá is a colonial, it's a very old town, colonial, in the border with Bolivia, which was very important to export, because on the Paraguay River, there was so many farms producing dry meat to the Second World War. So at that time, Brazil and Argentina were exporting meat to Europe to the Second World War. And because of that, this port was very important. And also during the war with Paraguay, it was a base also for Brazil. So the colonial side of the town is very nice, and it's becoming more and more preserved, as we can see here. And the NGO that we are partnering with, they have a Pantanal Story Museum to talk about especially the people who lives in Pantanal, because the name Instituto Homem Pantaneiro is Pantaneiro, is who lives in Pantanal Institute, because the history of Pantanal and the history of people who lives, including the indigenous community, but also the people who are doing cattle there and still work with cattle in the area, is very important, including to preservation in Pantanal area. So to get in and out on this city is nice because we can discover a little bit of history as well. And also locally, we have like some contact and partner also with Ballet Institute for poor people, poor kids who wants to study once they are not at the formal school. And one thing that is nice about this program as well is because along the days, this is a visit that we do to a community school along the way up there, but also we connect with some artisans. These artisans we can connect also during our cruise, but also we can do this activity, which is unique in Pantanal. This is a floating down the river. These waters are very clear, as we can see here, and we can see underwater the wildlife that it's possible to see there. Fishes, caimans, some snakes, rays, and whatever, and also the vegetation. So this is unique. But not only, we can do kayak also, we can do some hikes or going hikes to water springs, some bikes as well. So it's a place in Pantanal different on all the others that we have, where we can be more active. So different than the cruise that is more contemplative. So the idea is to search for wildlife every day. Here we can do some more active things, as I mentioned now. And this is the area where we visit. And also we have some historical rock inscriptions that we can see there as well. Okay. So, oh, I forgot to mention, we say in Pantanal that while in the north they have northern lights and the south they have southern lights, we have in Pantanal Pantanal lights, because every sunset is one really nice, like a painting by the nature, different colors, different formats, different like temperature. So it's so nice to see the sunset in Pantanal. And at night, with like clear skies during especially the dry season, the stars that are amazing. So to this program at Amolar Mountain Range, where do we stay? These houses here used to be for researchers only. So we are now using them. They are not luxury. They are like ensuite facilities, hot water, a swimming pool, great food, but as we can see here, basic. But only groups of 8 people, considering 4 double rooms or twin rooms that we can use on the area. We stay all the time on the same place, except one night in the beginning or at the end in Corumbá. So a part of the 2 programs that I mentioned to you before, we have the lodge-based options, okay? So we have these ones. I will start with the north, okay? So when we arrive in Cuiabá, okay, we need to drive down to Transpantaneira. This is the road called Transpantaneira. This is a dirt road starting in Poconé and has more than 100 bridges, which is now becoming concrete bridges, but some of them are still wooden bridges, okay? So on this area, we work with 2 options of accommodation. Araras Lodge, which is this option here, and Aymara Lodge. They are very close to each other, okay? They have similar experience. In terms of accommodation, Araras Lodge is a little bit better, okay? And, but both are very good accommodation, very good guides, very good tours. Usually we prefer to use Araras Lodge if you are selling people on a regular tours. So let's say they want to go there and they don't want private services. They prefer to do with other people. It's a group of maximum 8 to 10 people together that the lodge choose who is going to be with during the days that they are there. And also in Araras Lodge, they have this observation tower that Aymara Lodge doesn't have. If you have a client who wants to do a private trip with a private guide, then it's easier for us to deal with Aymara Lodge. So that's basically the main difference between both of them. Both of them are at Transpantaneira, and if you ask me if it's nice to combine both, no. If it's better to choose one or the other because the experience will be pretty much similar to each other, okay? Then the south entrance, which is called Campo Grande. So from Campo Grande, we will have Cayman Lodge, which is the best accommodation in all Pantanal, all right? So if you have clients who wants a high-end, but let's not compare the high-end of Brazil, Pantanal, with the high-end of African safari camps, okay? Because even Cayman, which is great option, we cannot compare with the higher-end safari camps in Africa. It's important to say. I hope I think we are going on this direction soon, but it's not the same level. But it's the best accommodation. And what is nice about Cayman Lodge is that inside Cayman Lodge, they have a project called On Safari. They monitor some jaguars with collars, okay? So in the south, if you're visiting Pantanal via the south entrance, this is the best option to see or to try to see jaguars. One thing that some people complain is that some of the jaguars, maybe most of the jaguars that they can see, are with collars. So sometimes some photographers doesn't want to take pictures with animals with collars, then it's better to go to Porto Jofre or to the Northern Pantanal cruise. But this option is great if the people are coming to Brazil and want to spend like 3-4 nights in Pantanal, the same with Araras or with Aymara Lodge. Then we have a place called Aguapé, actually two places called Aguapé and Refúgio da Ilha. We'll show the pictures of the other one. This is a little bit lower level than Cayman. It's a local farm, local owned. The owners live there, and it's really nice place to see. I mean, we can see all these animals everywhere in Pantanal, but here is a place that people are seeing more and more giant anteaters. It's possible to see in Araras, in Aymara, in Cayman, but this place is becoming very famous to giant anteaters, okay? These are the jeeps they use there. They also has horseback riding. So this is Aguapé. Refúgio da Ilha is similar to Aguapé in another area of Pantanal, same level of accommodation, a little bit smaller. While Aguapé, I think, has 12 rooms or 10 to 12 rooms. Here they have only 8 rooms, okay? In these two places, we run the trips with our own guides. So it's going to be private for your clients. At Cayman, we are not allowed to send the guides. Only their guides can guide there. So they will be always on group trips unless you buy private days with On Safari. Then during these days with On Safari, they will have private guides, but their guides, not our guides, okay? And then we have Bahia das Pedras, which is the most remote accommodation in Pantanal, in the south area of Pantanal. So to get there during the dry season, we recommend go with forward drive. They go with Land Rovers there. It takes around 5 hours. It's a long trip, but it's nice. Someone said to me a romantic thing that it's a good way to open all the gates because we are opening several gates to get into Pantanal. Okay, while we are traveling to Pantanal, we are opening all the gates to enter to Pantanal. On the way back, we recommend flying back because it's so long and it's nice to fly over Pantanal. I will show you some pictures soon. And Bahia das Pedras, also with our own guides there on private basis, okay? In the north area of Pantanal, we can combine Araras or Aymara with a safari programs without being the cruise, which has set departures. Then we can visit or Porto Jofre or Paraguay River Lodge based. which would be this place, Hotel Pantanal Norte, okay? It's 30 rooms by the riverbank. Uh, Again, basic, but good enough, good service, good food, not like luxury. It's on the heart of the Jaguar land, which is Porto Jofre. And then Baiazinha, which is in the Paraguay River, where we finish or start our cruise. It's a place with lots of jaguars, but less people searching for them. So let's say, while on a 3 nights program, we might see 17, 20 different individuals in Porto Jofre. In Baiazinha, if we are lucky, we'll be seeing 7, 8, usually 2 or 3. So less animals, but more exclusive because will be only us or another speedboat with us, not more than that. While in Porto Jofre, we will see lots of animals, lots of jaguars, but with lots of people around us. That's why we did our cruise, because then the people can experience both experiences and they can compare and see whatever they want, they find is better. Okay. So these are, again, some pictures of us visiting the areas. That's, again, the Pantanal lights. Well, connecting Pantanal by air. It's not common as in Namibia, Botswana, even in South Africa. Lots of people flying, and we don't have yet regular flights connecting the lodges in Pantanal. But it's possible with small planes. There are several kind of planes, very safe, nice and reliable companies. We charter a lot of flights with them. And that's why it's nice to connect. So let's say you are in Cayman Lodge and wants to go to Porto Jofre, you will cross from south to north over the Pantanal during the dry season. And then we will see the lakes dry, of course. But when we see these marks here, it's lakes. The green, the light green, it's where floods, and the dark green, and it's where doesn't flood. So we can understand better how Pantanal is and how this movement is. So we always recommend, if possible, try to do at least one flight over Pantanal from one place to another. You save time and you gain an experience that is really remarkable. Okay. So that's something that we are doing more and more, and we are chartering more and more planes to complete the experience. Okay. This is the Amolar Range seen from the sky. This is the wet season. As you can see here, it's all flooded and just few parts outside of the water. So this is how it looks like on the wet season. Just to finalize, we support 2 projects there. Jaguar Identification Project. You can get this QR code or take a note of their profile on Instagram. It's a nice project because this project is just identifying all the animals, because each animal has a fingerprint, which is their marks on their body. It's totally different than the other. So they sell a book. We always recommend our clients to buy this book before, and then we give to the travelers once they are here. And it helps them to keep doing this research. And also they research about the habits of the animal. Also, they protect from the fires, protect when something happens in the area. So it's a very reliable and nice project in the Porto Jofre area. And this is Brigada Alto Pantanal, is a project that is organized, who run this project is Instituto Homem Pantaneiro, which is the NGO that we are partnered with in Amolar Mountain Range. And it's a brigade, it's a fire brigade that is there to prevent fires in the end of the dry season. And it's helping a lot to preserve Pantanal from fires. And it's also a project that we support as well. Okay. Just to finalize, I hope it works. I will show a short video about the North Pantanal cruise. I hope it doesn't freeze too much.
I don't know if it's just for me, but there is no sound.
I was thinking the same. I wonder if there's
Sorry.
no sound or it was just me.
No, sorry. I will do the following. Paula, can you just put the link of the video on the chat so that people can copy it and see later?